Welcome back to CYVENTRA and our Linux security tool series. In our previous episodes, we explored AID, Audit, Dump, and Zeek. Each tool helped us answer an important security question. AID answered what changed, Audit answered who changed it, Dump showed us what traffic exists, and Zeek helped us understand what happened on the network. Today, we're moving from investigating network activity to investigating files. Imagine you're responding to a cybersecurity incident. You've collected thousands of files from a compromised Linux server. Among those files could be malware, exposed cloud credentials, confidential documents, or indicators of compromise. Opening every file manually would take hours, if not days. So, how do we quickly identify the files that deserve our attention? This is exactly the problem that Yara helps solve. Yara is an open-source pattern matching engine widely used by malware analysts, incident responders, SOC teams, and threat hunters. Instead of identifying files by their names, Yara examines the content of the file and compares them against rules that you define. A Yara rule is surprisingly simple. Every rule contains three basic components. First, the rule name, which describes what we're trying to detect. Second, one or more strings that define the patterns we're searching for. And finally, a condition that tells Yara when a match should occur. If the contents of a file satisfy that condition, Yara reports the file as a match. The simplicity of the language makes it easy to create custom rules that fit your own environment and security requirements. In today's demonstration, we'll build a few simple rules and use them to scan different files. We'll identify a confidential document, detect an exposed AWS secret access key, and finally scan an entire directory to demonstrate that Yara isn't limited to checking a single file at a time. Let's move to the terminal and see Yara in Acti. I've already created a small demo directory containing a few sample files. These represent the types of files we might encounter during a security investigation. Our first file contains confidential payroll information. The second contains a sample AWS secret access key. The remaining files contain normal text and other sample content. Let's begin by creating our first Yara rule. This rule simply searches for the word confidential. Although it's a simple example, it demonstrates how Yara works. Now let's scan the payroll file. As expected, Yara immediately reports a match because the file contains a pattern defined in our rule. Next, let's create another rule to identify an exposed AWS secret access key. Cloud credentials accidentally stored in configuration files or source code remain one of the most common cloud security issues. Running Yara against our configuration file immediately identifies the matching pattern. Now, let's answer another common question. Can Yara scan more than one file? The answer is yes. Using the recursive option, Yara automatically scans every file within a directory and its subdirectories. Instead of manually checking hundreds or thousands of files, Yara quickly identifies only those that match our rules. This capability makes it extremely useful during threat hunting, digital forensics, malware analysis, and incident response investigations. With just a few simple rules, we've successfully identified confidential information, exposed cloud credentials, and automatically scanned an entire directory for matching content. That brings us to the end of this episode. Today we learned how Yara helps security teams identify suspicious files using simple but powerful pattern matching rules. Whether you're performing malware analysis, threat hunting, incident response, or searching for exposed secrets, Yara is an incredibly flexible tool to have in your cybersecurity toolkit. I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it useful. If you did, please consider liking the video, sharing it with your colleagues, and subscribing to CYVENTRA for more practical cybersecurity content. Let me know in the comments which Linux security tool you'd like to see covered next. Thank you for watching. Stay secure, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next episode.